I still remember the sound of her laughter, light, broken, like a melody that had forgotten its rhythm. It was one of those evenings when life felt heavier than usual, when you talked too much just to silence the noise in your own head. We sat outside the cafe, under the pale glow of a street lamp, the air filled with the smell of coffee and city dust. Her name was Emily, and she had this quiet strength about her, the kind that hides behind forced smiles and tired eyes. I met her 6 months ago, when she joined our office as a graphic designer. She was always the first to arrive and the last to leave, as if staying busy could protect her from something waiting outside those glass doors. That night, when the rain started drizzling and she hesitated to go home, I joked, "Do you want to move in with me?" I laughed as I said it, because that's what you do when you're trying to mask care with humor. But she didn't laugh right away. She just stared at the wet pavement, her fingers trembling slightly as she stirred her coffee. "You shouldn't joke about things like that," she said softly. I shrugged, pretending not to notice the pain in her voice. "Hey, I'm serious. I've got an extra room. You can pay rent in smiles and sarcasm." She smiled then, the kind that doesn't quite reach the eyes, and changed the subject. We talked about music, work, and dreams that never happened. Eventually, she waved goodbye and disappeared into the rain, her umbrella flipping backward as the wind pushed against her. I didn't know it then, but that joke, that single careless sentence, would change both of our lives forever. The next morning, my phone buzzed at 6:42 a.m. It was a message from Emily. "Is your offer still good?" I froze. My heart thudded in my chest as I stared at the words. I typed back, "Yeah, of course." "What happened?" There was a long pause. Then she replied with just 3 words, "I have nowhere." When she showed up at my door that afternoon, her suitcase was small, her eyes swollen. She looked like someone who had run out of places to go. I didn't ask questions, not yet. I just opened the door wider and said, "Welcome home." At first, it was quiet, awkward quiet. She'd sit by the window in the evenings, sketching something on her tablet while I cooked. We didn't talk much about why she left her apartment, or what had happened. But sometimes, in the middle of the night, I'd hear her crying softly from the next room. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, she began to smile again. She brought warmth into my cold apartment, little plants on the windowsill, sticky notes on the fridge that said "Smile today," or "Don't forget breakfast." I started to realize that sometimes, people don't need saving, they just need a safe place to breathe. Then one evening, while washing dishes, she quietly said, "My ex kicked me out. He said I was too broken to love." I didn't know what to say. So, I just kept washing the dishes, letting the water hide my tears. After that, everything changed between us. Not romantically, at least, not then. But emotionally. We became each other's safe place. She helped me decorate the apartment, painted over my gray walls with soft blues and yellows. I helped her rebuild her confidence, little by little. But life, as always, has its cruel timing. A few months later, Emily got a job offer, a big one, in another city. She was thrilled, but I could see the fear in her eyes. The night before she was supposed to leave, we sat on the balcony in silence, watching the city lights flicker like restless hearts. "I'm scared to start over again," she whispered. I smiled. "You already did once. You'll be fine." She looked at me, her eyes shimmering. "You know, when you joked that night, I thought it was just another empty kindness. But it saved me. You saved me." The next morning, she was gone. No grand goodbye, just a sticky note on the fridge that said, "Thank you for giving me a home when I had none." I'll never forget that joke. Months passed. The apartment felt emptier without her laughter echoing down the hallway. But I still kept her plants alive, still looked at that note every morning. Then one rainy evening, almost a year later, there was a knock on my door. I opened it to see her standing there, drenched, smiling that same shy smile. "I got transferred back," she said. "So, is your offer still good?" This time, I didn't joke. I just opened the door and said, It always was. A single moment of compassion, even disguised as a joke, can change a life forever, and sometimes, it can bring two broken souls back home to each other.